meaning, implications, and applications of soul migration, and third, I explain from layman's perspective. Good day, and welcome to Truth Beyond Reality. Today we shall be discussing soul migration or spiromigration or spiroatomic activity, which has a lot of powerful implications and applications in our lives, consciously or unconsciously, knowingly and unknowingly, and which accounts for many phenomena that as humans we find difficult to understand or explain. For instance, time travels, dreams, déjà vu, the third eye or 10th eye, and transvisions, spiritual healings, inspiration of creativity knowledge, revelation of divine events and information, etc. Though I have tried to explain this concept of soul migration scientifically, using Rutherford's atomic theory in previous videos, however, I understand that not everyone studied science. Consequently, not everyone may be able to understand the explanation of soul migration from scientific perspective. So, I will be explaining the concept of soul migration and its implications and applications for a layman's perspective, shall also employ religious scriptures, so that even non-scientists and religious individuals can understand and be able to take advantage of it. Soul migration or spiromigration or spiroatomic activity is actually the secret way to human evolution, activation of the third eye, acquisition of divine information, creativity knowledge, or creativity information, the secret way to time travel into the future and past, the secret way to dreaming, understanding your dreams, and using your dreams to change or influence your reality, as well as acquiring powers and wealth, etc. In fact, the human third eye or 10th eye that is often represented in many books as codes is simply the human spirit or soul. So, once you can understand spiroatomic activity or spiromigration or soul migration and how to activate your spirit temple to a good degree, your third eye or 10th eye automatically opens or becomes activated, with which you can see the unimaginable, the future and the past, as well as understand very well the present, see in a higher realms, internal structures of things and existence, etc. Now, let's analyze soul migration, which is an activity of the human third eye or human spirit from a layman's perspective. Have you ever slept and you dreamed seeing yourself flying, fighting, or doing some things that ordinarily are impossible in real life? For instance, skillfully swimming in an ocean, even when in real life you cannot swim, or flying over very high buildings, or defeating a crowd of people fighting you, etc. Have you ever heard some women who have gone through childbirth or delivery narrate their experiences, such that during giving birth they saw their souls or spirits living their bodies, and they found themselves in strange places? Sometimes they say they saw their dead family members or angels and other strange beings, etc. Have you heard sometimes some women say strange things during delivery as if they're talking to spirits? And sometimes some of our beloved mothers never make it out of the delivery rooms alive. Have you ever seen someone doing exercises and after a while the person slumps? Or have you been doing exercises before and after some time you feel so fatigued that you feel if you don't stop immediately you're going to collapse or slump? All these events to mention, but a few are soul migration or spiromigration or spiroatomic activity experiences. These events or experiences happens to humans because there is a part of humans that is actually a spirit, which is often called the human soul. This means that as humans we do not only have bodies and minds, but also a spirit, such that as humans we are actually a being of three temples, namely the body temple, mind temple, and the soul or spirit temple. The spirit temple of humans is actually what we see as ourselves in dreams and other forms of transvisions. Just like the body temple and mind temple carry out certain activities like movement and thinking or reasoning, etc. That's how the spirit temple carry out its activities. Though the three temples are interdependent and synergies to make humans functional, but the activities of the spirit temple is mainly responsible for human time travels, transvisions, like visions during meditations, dreams, hallucinations during childbirth or near-death experiences in women during delivery, hallucinations when humans are drugged or intoxicated, coma situations when humans slumps during exercises, accidents, exposure to intense vibrations, exposure to shock, dementia, loss of memory, etc., and even death. Apart from these numerous activities of the soul or human spirit, and some others like hearing, speaking, feeling, seeing, etc., the human soul also has the ability to partially migrate or separate from the body or leave the body while still bonding or interacting with the mind. Partial migration or separation of the soul or human spirit leads to sleep or dreams, coma, transvisions, time travel, dementia, etc., and absolute migration or complete separation leads to death. I know a lot of people will argue me till doomsday on my claim that hearing, speaking, feeling, seeing, etc. are not activities originated from the body temple, but from the soul or human spirit temple. While we will explain this in subsequent sections, so we can stick to our main topic of soul migration, let's quickly ask ourselves this question. If it is the mouth that really speaks, or the ear that really hears, the body that really feels or make us respond to stimulation, etc., why is that when humans die, even with the mouth, skin, eyes, ears, etc., intact, we can no longer see, hear, feel, or respond to stimulation and speak, etc., once the spirit completely separate from the body or migrate from the body? God, most wise, most mighty, the excellent uncreated creator, designed or created death to shows us or reminder us or make us understand that it is not our bodies that makes our mouth speak, our ears to hear, our skin to feel or respond to stimulation, our eyes to see, etc., but the spirit which he breathed into us as light that makes us to be able to do all these things, such that once the spirit separates or migrate from the body completely, the body dies or can no longer perform. God Most High created the spirit such that it is highly unstable, just like chemical spirit substances are highly volatile and inflatable, but extremely fast and powerful, in order to slow down the human spirit, so we can perform at relatively slow pace or lower speed, as well as stabilize the spirit. Then also limited activities, hence reduce its powers, so that we can be humans or a part of us can be physical or molecular or matter. God created a body or container to cage our spirit, such that the human spirit is caged within the body to reduce its powers or weaken it, stabilize it in one place at a time, as well as limited activities. Otherwise, humans will operate and become powerful as pure spirits like the angels. So, the body merely makes us physical, slow, and weak. It is not why we exist or perform. Even without a material or physical body, the demons and the angels exist as light or energy and can perform. Because the human spirit is caged within the body. Hence, it is carrying a burden such that at full consciousness, humans cannot fly about or move at extreme speed like pure spirits. Such that as humans we can move one step at a time or run, still one step at a time, unlike pure spirits who can float at terrible and unimaginable high speed. It is also our body which acts as a barrier, burden, or cage that prevents the human soul or spirit or third eye from connecting with external nature or environment directly. Consequently, the human body has to be created with a lot of vents or holes or openings, such that through those vents or holes, the spirit tries to connect with external nature or environment. For instance, the eyes, ears, noses, mouth openings, skin pores, sexual and excretory organs openings, etc., are all vents or holes for the human soul or spirit to gain access to external nature or connect with external environment. So when we speak or talk, see, hear, etc., that's our spirit trying to connect with other people's spirits and environment through the eyes, ears, noses, skin, etc., or the openings on the body at full consciousness. At full consciousness, when the spirit is effectively caged within the body as a barrier prevents the spirit or third eye from seeing or connecting to external nature and higher realms or higher dimensions of life. In other words, at full consciousness, the third eye is blind to the inner worlds or higher realms and also limited as to what it can see or perceive within the immediate environment. This is why at full consciousness, because of the body is a barrier or cage or burden, what our human spirit can see, hear, feel, hence, do, or perform and know, etc., is limited. This is also why as a human being you cannot be in school, for instance, and see, hear, or know what is happening at home far away. But once the body is removed, the spirit becomes free to connect with anything or other humans no matter the distance. For pure spirits, distance is insignificant or not a barrier or limitation to their operations and performance, such that if the spirit is freed from the body, it can be anywhere and stretch its field to cover any distance and be able to perceive or see, hear, feel, pick signals from no matter the distance. Spirits do not necessarily need to travel from one place to the other before they can know what's happening around. An enormous part of the universe is within their reach and grasp. So, it is actually humans that have to travel around from one place to another, one at a time, so that we can have access to different parts of the world. This is why God, as an all-powerful, all-encompassing spirit, do not need to move an inch to see or know what is happening anywhere or in any part of the universe. His magnificent and overwhelming spirit or light or energy and field certainly covers or envelopes everything and everywhere. In order to make a way for humans to be able to use our spirit to perform like other minor spirits or demons, and like the angels sometimes, so that we can see, hear, and visit places beyond even our immediate environment, like the higher realms of life, which ordinarily we cannot see or visit at full consciousness. God Most Wise created the phenomenon of partial soul migration or spiromigration or spiroatomic activity, such that under certain circumstances or conditions, mainly excitation and de-excitation conditions, the human spirit can migrate or partially separate from the body to connect with other humans, external nature or immediate environment, and even higher realms of life like the realms of the demons, angels, etc., which I call the realms of fire and light respectively, and other realms, without resulting to death of the individual. And under such migration, humans can see, hear, and learn a lot beyond the imaginable. Travel to the past and future to see and learn about events that are yet to manifest in the physical world, as well as possibly interact with demons and angels, learn so much secrets of creativity, wealth creation, or even become gifted with wealth and powers by the demons or angels and God. As I often insist, my experience in soul migration or spiromigration made me understand that most music you listen to, books you read, videos you watch, scientific and technological discoveries you see, wealth and powers displayed by most humans, etc., are gifted to humans or those who made them by demons, angels, God, etc., from higher realms, and are not acquired in classrooms. This is not to claim that humans do not have to work hard. What I am saying is that the secret knowledge or information to even know what to do or how to design a particular machine or anything and then produce it is thought to most people from nature and higher realms, not in classrooms. This is why geniuses, aragons, and billionaires are not made in classrooms, but through personal struggles of self-awareness, self-discovery, self-activation, self-regulation, self-application, etc., which certainly involves soul migration or spiroatomic activity. What many people call inspiration so that they don't make you understand that they're just like you, but only have discovered how to connect with nature and higher realms of life, which helps them to gain uncommon information or knowledge to write books, scripts, music, manufacture machines, and anything is actually information and knowledge gifted to them by nature and higher spirits or creatures of higher dimensions and civilization. The demons and angels work with many men to reveal so much secret knowledge or information to them by God's grace or permission through soul migration and means of the third eye. Sometimes, angels and demons descend to human realm. At other times, humans who understand soul migration very well can migrate to their realms to be thought and inspired. Even connection with the demons and angels when they visit the human realm requires soul migration and the third eye, because you cannot connect with a spirit or see a spirit with your physical body. You can only do that through your own spirit temple or the third eye. This is why the Bible said, "Those who must worship God must worship him in truth and spirit." John chapter 4, verse 24. It reads, "God is spirit, and those who worship him must worship in spirit and truth." And you find a similar instruction in Surah Az-Zumar, Quran chapter 39, verse 2, which states, "Indeed, we have sent down a book to you, O Prophet. In truth, so worship Allah alone, being sincerely devoted to him." This shows that even in prayers you can only connect with God as a spirit through your own spirit, not through the body. This is why prayers is a soul migration or spiromigration or spiro-atomic activity experience or process that the Bible and the Quran are trying to inform us about. And when you're able to connect with God through soul migration, you will never remain the same. You will be filled with positive energy and light that provides protection and guidance. Your third eye will open. You will be gifted divine knowledge or information or discoveries, creativity knowledge, and many other kinds of gifts that I call karamis. This is what religion is meant to teach us. That is, how to connect with God and the inner worlds or higher realms or civilizations, and external nature to gain access to super information or knowledge and other gifts or karamis. In other words, religion is meant to teach us how to activate ourselves or evolve from ordinary humans to geniuses and aragons. So, soul migration is simply a process where the human spirit or soul is freed partially from the body so that it can migrate to either external nature or environment or higher realms of life to explore or learn what it cannot perceive ordinarily at full consciousness or when it's caged within the body, while the third eye is opened or activated. God established so many means of soul migration, which are excitation and de-excitation processes. While humans can easily take advantage of the de-excitation processes naturally, excitation processes are quite difficult to use. For instance, prayers, meditation, sleep or dreams, etc., are some soul migration means or processes humans can easily take advantage of as they are actually de-excitation processes. Exposure to intoxicants, drugs, vibrations, especially violent vibrations, shocks, acute pains like in child labor and childbirth, especially extensive labor and childbirth, etc., can also lead to soul migration or spiromigration or spiro-atomic activity, but often are not easily controllable and can lead to damage of the body and mind, and permanent or complete separation of the soul from the body or death, as they are excitation processes. While meditation and sleep are purely de-excitation processes, prayers can be achieved through excitation or de-excitation. However, time travel is not a soul migration process in itself, but one of the implications or application of soul migration processes like meditation, prayers, sleep or dreams, etc. In other words, you can time travel into the future or past through dreams, prayers, and meditation, even through childbirth or as a result of pain, shock, vibrations, intoxicants, etc., which are excitation processes. Sex is one excitation processes of soul migration or spiro-atomic activity, and as well as spiro-atomic activity catalyst or spiro-atomic field creator or regulator. This means that sex, apart from having the capacity to make human spirit migrate, it also has the capacity to create a form of body and soul magnetic fields that help facilitate the unleashing of the human soul. This makes sex very powerful and effective for spiro activities such as spiritual healings, spiritual hypnosis, demon transmissions and afflictions, etc. But because sex is also an excitation process, it is also very difficult to use for soul migration in a higher realms or external environment, but is very perfect for creating and regulating the body-spirit magnetic field for soul migration to take place by other means like meditation, sleep or dreams, prayers, etc. The spiro-migration capacity of sex means that sex is not just a casual process or activity as many people think, but the easiest way to reach and interfere or influence the human soul or spirit. For instance, sex is the easiest way or means of demon transmissions, human soul trapping or apprehension and infusion. Human soul trapping or apprehension and infusion makes it possible for death and many other ill-fated events to be infused or afflicted on humans spiritually. In subsequent sections, we shall discuss sex as a soul migration process, how it brings healings and aids spirituality if correctly employed, and how it can also lead to a lot of physiological, psychological, and spiritual disasters if wrongly used, and why marriage is important in the use of sex. However, the challenge with excitation processes is that they are hardly controllable. Whereas you can consciously meditate and pray to release your spirit or undergo partial soul migration into a specific or particular sphere or realm of life that you want, just as you can learn to dream about what you want specifically and get answers to so many questions no one or the world has been able to provide answers. However, controlled dreams are more difficult to master than controlled meditations or prayers. So, whether it is coma from strenuous exercises or accidents, time travel, hallucinations from intoxication and childbirth, etc., what really happens is that when a human body is exposed to excitation processes like pain, shock, vibrations, drugs, or even excessive stress and pressure like from exercises, etc., the spirit becomes unstable, and this has something to do with the bonds, or what I call tripotent balance or equilibrium between the body, mind, and spirit or soul. In other words, these excitation processes has capacity to break down the tripotent balance or equilibrium or bonds between the human body, mind, and spirit. And once this is done, the spirit breaks away from the body and migrates. If these processes are not very violent or extreme, the spirit can temporarily migrate to allow the body to heal before it can de-excite or settle back. During such partial migration, the individual in coma, childbirth, accident, etc., whose spirit is now unleashed and the third eye opened or activated can see him or herself visiting different places around the environment, the world, or even higher realms, interacting with known or strange people, strange beings, or spirits before recovering. This means because their souls or spirits have been unleashed from their bodies, they are able to see and connect or interact with other spirit beings in our environments and higher realms, as well as humans who are alive. Under de-excitation, like sleep, meditation, prayers, the conscious messaging of the spirit due to our worries or challenges and questions we want answers or solutions to, cause the spirit to partially migrate from the body and connect with external nature or possibly higher realms of life where the information or knowledge or answers we seek are stored or located. It might interest us to know that knowledge or information is not actually originated in the human brain and books. The sanctuaries of knowledge and information are nature and the higher realms. In other words, the real sources of knowledge or information and many other resources and wealth of life are nature and the higher realms, not books and human mind or brains. Books and human mind or brains are only used to store and transmit information or knowledge other people have acquired from nature and higher realms to younger generations or other people, such that when you're studying a book or listening to someone's teachings, you're only accessing what another individual has learned from nature and higher realms. By studying books alone, you can hardly know better than the one who wrote the book or taught you his own discovery. So, if you want to have direct and first-hand information or knowledge, which no one else may have ever had before, you need direct supply of information or knowledge from external nature and form higher realms or higher civilizations. This means you have to find a way to connect to the sanctuaries of knowledge or information and other resources, which is possible through soul migration or spiromigration or spiroatomic activity. And the supply of information or knowledge from external nature to humans is what many call inspiration, and supply from higher realms and civilizations is what they call revelations. Anyone and everyone can actually soul migrate or spiromigrate through meditation, sleep, or dreams, and prayers to achieve time travel, transvisions, etc., to acquire incredible information or knowledge, discoveries, creative information or skills and abilities, learn secrets about so many things, get answers to questions. and even find solutions to medical problems and especially psychiatric challenges, or get solutions to ailments, hence acquire healing solutions. This means that apart from sourcing information or knowledge, the knowledge of spiromigration can be applied in medicine to reduce mortality cases in child delivery, enhance healings, as well as solve complex psychiatric challenges or problems. The benefits and applications of spiromigration cannot be overemphasized, which is the reason a lot of people strive so hard to learn meditation, which is one means of spiromigration or soul migration, and try to apply it in all fields of life. For instance, in academy and philosophy, medicine, sports like especially martial arts, music, acting, writing, study of nature or science and discovery, religion, etc. However, despite a lot of people engage in meditation and prayers, especially as means of soul migration or spiromigration, most people are unable to succeed or achieve discoveries, acquire information or higher knowledge, and other benefits of meditation and prayers or soul migration, because most of us do not actually understand the mechanism or how meditation and prayers works, as well as dreams. This means that most people do not understand how to quietly and calmly unleash their soul through meditation and prayers, and as well receive information during successful connections. For instance, a lot of people do not realize that prayers is a two-way process or channel. They only speak to God or complain to God and leave. But in actual sense, prayers is a channel of communication with God in spirit that involves sending and receiving of signals. When you're making requests or asking God to do something for you, He might not divinely just eradicate the challenge or problem as many of us think or want God to do for us. He may communicate to you about what to do and how to do it, or where to go within your environment to get the solution. This communication comes most times as signals or signs, visions, etc., but hardly as voices as most people want to hear. Angels and minor spirits or demons hardly reveal themselves or speak to men, much more God, the Almighty. Their hidden life from men is what makes them sacred and valuable. So, God gives signals, signs, and visions. And when He wants us to get His messages as voice, He mostly sends the angels, demons, and even humans to speak to us as response to our requests or prayers. God responds to us every time, but most times we are too distracted and occupied by fantasies to see or notice His signs, signals, visions, or messages. At other times, we don't even understand the process, such that some people pray and see visions, get signals or sign, and ignore the messages while waiting to hear God's voice directly. Even in the ancient times of scriptural revelations, God spoke to very, very few of His prophets and messengers. Not all the messengers were privileged to hear God's voice, more or less me and you. Also, meditation is one most misconstrued process of soul migration. Most people try without succeeding to connect with external nature and higher realms or gain any information. Eventually they give up doing it because they feel it doesn't work. One greatest myth about meditation is that you have to sit down, folding your legs, and be looking straight in one direction and not moving or sit like the dead in order to be able to achieve connection or soul migration. This is not true. You can even lay down to meditate. You could be in the shower, meditate, and get soul migration and acquire information. You can even be walking and achieve it. The only danger in walking and meditating is colliding with people or cars, etc., if you're on a busy road with much traffic. Because any slightly soul migration, especially when you are connecting with environment, not your immediate environment, can make you unaware of anything or anyone coming towards you, except if the field set up by your body and spirit during such migration is strong enough to pick up the signal of the oncoming vehicle, human, etc. For example, sometimes you notice you're walking on the road, but you're already at home or somewhere else, and someone is oncoming or vehicle, and you don't see them even though they are very close to colliding with you. Another example is a student in class receiving lectures could soul migrate to the house or anywhere else, maybe a girlfriend's house, and he is so absent-minded and carried away that his teacher noticed he is not with the class. Then the teacher walks towards the student, gets so closed, yet the student doesn't see his teacher. Then the teacher touches the student, only for him to jump up or jerk, and you see him sighing deeply as someone who's been sleeping yet he wasn't. The truth beyond reality is that his spirit just came into his body or settled back. It had wandered away, far off from the class, through soul migration or spiroatomic activity. The student wasn't actually listening and connecting to the teacher, but meditating about his girlfriend. So, the meditation messages compelled the spirit to migrate and connect towards the area where his girlfriend is likely to be found. This also shows that even physical reading and listening or learning in classrooms involve soul migration or spiroatomic activity, such that if the student is interested in the topic or subject and likes his teacher very well, he is attracted towards his teacher and begins soul migrate and connect with his teacher. If the student-to-teacher connection is successful, the student will know difficulty in understanding the topic or subject. If not successful, the student struggles to understand. You would have noticed, sometimes as a teacher, especially, that some students may pay attention to you so much that you feel his or her connection and turn your attention almost completely to him or her. And at such instances, the student can even preempt and say your next sentences or answers correctly before you say it. Even when we read books, which are stored information or knowledge from human author, we do not only connect with the book to read and understand it, but also connect with the mind and spirit of the author. This is why, when reading especially books that steal your attention so much, it gets to a point you start trying to imagine the author's personality. This also happens when we watch movies, listen to music, etc. Knowingly or unknowingly to many of us, we actually interact with the spirits of the actors and musicians we watch and listen to, such that you could watch an individual actor or musician so much that you start acting or behaving like them. And this means that even without an author, actor, musician, etc., being physically present, you're actually mixing your soul or spirit with their own souls and connecting with them. This is how celebrities share connection and influence with their fans. This is why it is correct and true when you hear artists or writers and other creators say, during the creation of my work or music or book, I poured in my energy and soul. Yes, as humans we pour our souls or spirit or dust on everything we create or touch. This is why your fingerprint remains on anything you touch. Soul migration is actually part of the mechanism by which we interact socially in physical or through other forms of information media or knowledge-sharing platforms, as well as create things. You have to pour your soul or spirit on it, anything you create, otherwise it wouldn't work. Even God, the Almighty, pour His Spirit into us for us to come to life or for us to work, as humans are the greatest machines ever designed and created. So do we pour our souls onto whatever we make and create or design, be it a book, music, movie, machine, etc.? So, good understanding of soul migration does not only aid learning, but it is a direct and guaranteed process of boosting intelligence and transforming humans from ordinary humans to genius and aragon humans. This means that soul migration or spiromigration or spiroatomic activity is everything about human evolution. We shall discuss evolution so that we see or understand that evolution is not actually about humans being transformed from apes or animals, which is a distraction theory or information. But it is everything about the human soul or spirit or dust, how to activate our spirit or dust through body energy or strength, knowledge or speed of performance, character or talents or skills activation to potent levels, thereby transforming within to become extraordinary intelligent or superhuman being beyond even genius intelligence and performance capabilities that I call aragon. Now that we understand the meaning and implications of soul migration, in our next videos we shall treat the various processes of soul migration or spiroatomic activity one by one, like meditation, time travel, dreams, prayers, etc., as well as evolution, and how to use them to source information, creativity knowledge, healing knowledge, etc., or gain access to external nature and higher realms of life through soul migration. Thank you for watching. Kindly comment your opinion, contributions, questions, and help share to other truth seekers. Stay blessed.